So they implied that their chieftain killed her because he knew he couldn't compete with her in the hunt.
Yeah. But he knew he could compete with her and murder her. I will admit, running over these areas and like ignoring the bridges and stuff actually bothers me. Like a lot. Have you ever been to like Yellowstone or like any of the
I haven't actually been
areas?
to any of the big national parks, which is sad.
They're we went to a lot of them when we lived in the area. They're fun. Sort of. I don't know. I
wonder what they'll trade for Blue Gleam.
We saw more historical landmarks, like the estates of old presidents
Bleh.
and
My
museums. And
mother realized fairly early on that was not going to be very interesting for my brother and I, and generally kept us to the more interesting stuff, which is something I'm eternally thankful for.
I find history to be quite informative, and seeing
History
all the
is interesting,
objects
but,
and
like,
the places, like, it's meaningful. I do like nature and natural history as well, but my parents preferred seeing the cities and the museums and whatnot.
No sign of them yet. Guess I'll just sit and wait.
We would go to cities, but we would usually go to interesting places in the cities. Like, I fondly remember going to San Francisco and going to, like, the Children's Museum there and the Children's Museum there and Chinatown. Chinatown was interesting. Then I went back on my own, and it was less interesting. I had a lot of Thai food when I was in San Francisco by myself, though.
Yeah, people are talking about how you can't walk on those. Yeah, you have to, in parks like that, you have to walk on very specific trails.
If any of you guys ever find your way to, like, Croatia, northern Croatia, there's a wonderful, like, set of lakes. Lakes?
Let's see what this Blue Gleam is worth.
Well, it was a waterfall system with massive... I suppose it would be a river, but some of it was such slow-moving water that it just looked like crystalline, wide ponds.
It was gorgeous. Plitvice.
Yeah, Plitvice. And it was a bright greenish blue because of the limestone's calcium.
Yeah, the water was
seeping into
also
it.
so still you could see straight through to the
The
bottom.
fish were so cute.
Yeah, there were cute
Save
fish,
these for the trail.
and there was also just like
There were weird plants just growing up and coating the surface with their leaves.
I was starting to worry about you three. Everything all right?
We took our time. After our last conversation, we had a lot to think about.
I can imagine. Just one more hunt, then your debt is paid and you three can make your way south. Ready?
Huntress, the Sunshine Snowshoes await your signal. Horrible!
I'm almost impressed, Dulamok. Didn't think you could come up with a name worse than Burning Turkeys.
Well, I liked it. Let's hunt.
Okay, let's take a look at this.
Whoa, what's that? It's serpentine in nature. Oh, it's an alligator. Never mind. And I think it saw you.
That was actually intentional, don't worry.
Oh, you want them to... Oh, you ran right into it, so...
Don't worry. Still intentional. I thought these were bushes you could hide in.
Uh-oh. That's a prowler, isn't it?
Don't worry, it's fine.
Can you still hide in this? In that? Yeah.
They're not interested in me. At least not that interested in me. Considering I'm not bothering to fight them. I think I'd
It's a good thing hacking into it doesn't alert everything to you immediately.
There we go. Oh, I should probably stab this thing now
Yep.
that I think about it. These
If
guys
it's
are
small enough.
very killable.
Yep.
But they also have these scrapper piles, which usually have something really good in them, actually. Alright, and... honestly, Tear Blast. Snap-ons are pains in the ass.
Does it have weak points on its tail?
Yes, it does.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately...
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can actually swim in this game?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, but
It's
you're
not
in
a
its
good
turf.
idea against one of these suckers.
Watch it, watch it.
Ooh.
Yay!
Close.
Woo! Oh. That's not a silent strike. Ow. Jerk.
So its weak points are the cylinders, and then it has these chest pieces.
Right. I forgot. I've got heavy attacks that I can do.
Nice.
Yeah, heavy attacks
Whoa, level
down
48?
enemies. What
How
was
many
that?
levels are in this game?
I think you go up to like 100 or something.
Really? Wow. Because you're only level 48.
Yeah, I don't actually remember what the cap is. It's high. Obviously
People
not
seem to be
that
saying
big of a deal.
60.
I'm never gonna get that far. Yeah, I'm really impressed. They actually had the snap-bars breaking the
Ice.
yeah, breaking the ice. That's super impressive. I mean, the snow physics is great too. I was really hoping we'd actually like slide.
Oh, there's another one?
Yeah, there is.
Ah.
Apparently we killed a salmon in there.
A salmon?
Yeah, you can go fishing in this game.
Oh.
Part of the reason why I don't have all of the quivers that I need is because I refuse to go fishing. Because I'm lazy.
How do fish
Okay.
equate to quivers?
Apparently you need fish bones for certain ones don't ask me why.
Huh.
Okay, so level cap is actually 60. 100 was pure guesstimation. And wrong. What are you guys fighting?
Oh, there's another prowler in the distance? What do you think their name should
just
be?
a scrapper.
Uh-oh.
The Rudy Tooty Banana Mongers. No, I'm
It's sinking.
a scrapper.
Good haul.
Luckily, hypothermia is not a thing in
We don't
this.
have time to mess around.
We have friend. We have friendo. See, what should they be named? I don't know. I'm partial to slow cookers.
What? I know you like the slow cookers, but
It's mostly a dumb joke in relation to yesterday.
well, we've always loved our slow cooker, but you're talking about using it in the chef game that you're playing,
Yeah.
Chef Brigade?
In Battle Chef Brigade, I more or less got a perfect score in the final battle, because of my, unabashed over-abuse of slow cookers. I can't move for some reason. That's worrying. There's some neat weak points on these guys, but they're always impossible to, like, really hit. Usually I just go for the protrusions and then go elsewhere. Ow. Still got me. Alright, screw it.
I'm trying to think of
I
a
don't
good
like you.
name for them. They always seem to do the compound object or creature kind of deal. But I was thinking about how they're a trio, they're a triad of some sort, and I was trying to think of something that went along with them. And then I was thinking of triops, those little trilobite-looking critters that you can actually spawn in warm
There's
water.
a third one here, by the way.
What?
There's a third tower.
I never was able to get my triops to grow.
There it is.
Probably didn't keep the temperatures right in the water.
Very cold.
That or the eggs were ancient and didn't rehydrate properly. Because you could actually buy them as little, almost like
the sea monkey
packages.
packs. Yeah, I had a friend with sea monkeys.
But they're not sea monkeys. I'm talking about triops.
I think they're the same thing, actually.
No, they aren't. They look different.
Okay.
Because my one friend had sea monkeys, and sea monkeys have a substantially shorter lifespan, and they look weird in comparison. The triops can grow up to like this long, and by this long I mean maybe over an inch or so. I forget.
Come on.
But yes, triops are cool. They're like a crustacean.
Oh, you're so dead.
Of some sort. And I believe they're called triops because they actually have a central sort of like third eye. It's not fully formed like other eyes. Do you know that lizards, a number of lizard species, actually have a third?
Come here.
Oh, it's slowly
I'm
sinking
stuck.
into the water.
I'm actually stuck.
Oh, got it.
Oh. Can creatures despawn? It's going, it's going.
Okay, there we go.
Its claw had to go down.
That was weird. Yeah, the body just flew and rolled me into the water.
There. That's the last of Bergren's parts. Looks like you three are out of debt.
For now. Until Orkai breaks something else.
It was one time!
You make a nice shaman, Aloy. Thanks for lending a hand. Maybe we'll meet you in the Sundom sometime.
Once you get to the Sundom, what then? What's the next step?
We hunt like Nakoni wanted to hunt.
Nakoni had big dreams. A werak in which everyone pulls their weight and takes care of each other. No shamans, no chieftains, no need to pry the power out of anybody's hands.
Sounds like a lot of work.
But worth it, I think. And a fitting tribute to Nakoni. We can become the werak she always wished for.
You won't have me to strip your kills now. Are you three gonna be alright?
Doesn't look that hard, really. We'll be fine.
Great. He watches 3 successful harvests and he's suddenly a shaman.
When you get to Song's Edge, talk to Bergrand. If he can't teach you himself, he'll know someone who can.
Sure. And I bet he charges us for the introduction.
Thank you, Aloy. I'm sure we'll figure it out.
I guess this is goodbye. How does it feel, putting Banuk lands behind you?
The only thing I would have missed is already gone.
Let all those rotten Banor suck-ups freeze to death.
That's a little much, Urkai, don't you think? You know, it's strange. What is it to be Banuk after Banur forsakes you? How do we decide who we are? How about you, Aloy? Who do you think we are? What will you remember of us?
There's like a weird orange line that's in front of his face, and I don't actually know if it's my TV or...
So you can say it's what you fight for, it's what you've accomplished.
None
or
of
what
these
you've
matter,
endured.
it's just kind of flavor.
I think accomplish.
Look around. You've taken down more machines since you left Banur than some hunters take down in a year.
Shattered hearts and all, right, Orkai?
It wasn't shattered.
But you took down a Thunderjaw to get that heart, didn't you?
We did. So, silly suggestion. But what if we were the Shattered Hearts?
You know, I actually like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thank you, Aloy, for seeing us for who we are.
Yay. I like that.
Hey. Okay.
Well, the Shattered Heart's a good name.
No, it is a good name.
I mean,
I still like Crockpots better.
I really thought that they were going to continue the mission with maybe Aloy could take out their chieftain too, but nah.
Vengeance seems a little, well...
It's too bad that the chieftain that we're fighting is completely unrelated to the one that's associated with them. Because if it was the same one,
soon enough.
then we would definitely have a greater reason to combat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad I got the blue gleam. Oh boy.
Huh.
We're looking for blue gleam nearby. There it
Got
is.
some blue gleam. Might as well trade it.
Still think it's battery juice. Crystal.
Probably is, yeah. Oh geez, is it all the way up there? I might not be able to make that. Sometimes the GPS is like, oh yeah, go this long way around when all you have to do is climb a hill. Sometimes though, it's a little bit less possible than that.
Just looking at this, it reminds me of home, back when home actually used to get snow. It's sort of scary how in the span of, what, 10 or 20 years, I've seen a place that used to get 3, 4, 5 feet of snow all at once at certain times of the year in a given winter go to nothing.
Yep,
Nothing.
got it. Maybe.
The snowplow people are having a heyday, though, because a lot of people, if they pay a snowplow
I don't
to
think I
plow
was
their
supposed to do this.
driveways,
Where am I?
they just pay an amount up front, and the snowplow comes for only, you know, when it snows, when it's necessary. But since it's non-refundable and stuff, if it doesn't snow all year, they just get off with essentially free money.
Yep. Oh, there we go. I am not supposed to be here,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but I made it anyway.
Okay. This almost reminds me
Maybe I
of
can trade this blue gleam.
that shaman shrine entrance at the very beginning or something.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I more or less force climbed up this to go get some blue gleam that we apparently missed on the way up. It's just not super obvious because I'm going backwards, which is why it possibly can look new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, we're fortunate nowadays. I suppose, I don't know if you would consider snow fortunate or unfortunate, but you don't see it for even sticking for more than a couple days. Ouch.
Yeah, that was loud. I apologize.
If not at all. And I mean, we've moved to a completely different region of the United States now, so it's warmer, but it's insanely warm now. It was 70 today. It makes me wonder what's happened with animals that migrate or hibernate during the winter. Because
Well, my hometown's kind of a indication of that. Canadian geese, which, you know, normally fly north and south, they just live in my town now. It's...
Oh yeah, yep, Canadian geese live in my hometown too.
Yeah, it's just warm
They
enough
love
that they
them
don't need
all.
to care.
And they like to walk slowly across the
Blue
road
gleam.
during high periods of traffic. Ah,
I'll be taking that.
Yeah.
geese.
Oh yeah,
And they poop everywhere.
some kids were straight up like suspended in my school, and it was a huge controversy because the geese blocked them in just outside of the school, so they couldn't park their cars.
Did they run them over?
Nope, they
Okay.
couldn't run them over
Good,
because
good.
that's
I was hoping that you said that. For a moment, I thought you said that they were expelled or something, or
no,
they
no,
got
they
in
were
trouble.
suspended. They got in trouble because they were so late.
Oh, so because they are being considerate of the birds.
Yeah. Well, considered to the birds, and they couldn't just abandon their cars. And so that was like a huge thing for a little while. It's like, what do you do? Because this is kind of following the tail end of some guy going nuts and murdering a bunch of them. He just...
Wait, well, I missed that. What happened?
Some guy just decided to kill a bunch of geese and goslings for, like, no reason.
Oh.
And he got caught doing it, and yeah, it was sad. But, you know, there was no...
I heard that they were becoming such an invasive species in some parts. They were actually considering coating the eggs in some kind of weird substance to essentially, like, suffocate them out or whatever. Because you know how eggs have pores on them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. Because if you think about it, when there's an animal gestating in a mammal's uterus, they are actually tied via umbilical cord to their mother's bloodstream and whatnot.
A fistful of blue gleams worth braving the cold.
So you're oxygenating them as well as yourself if you're a mother. Whereas when you have an egg, it's a closed system. It's completely separate and on its own. So yeah, how does it oxygenate itself? I've never actually really pondered these things before.
I choose not to think too hard about eggs.
I wonder what
Well, I
that
suppose
shade of
that's
blue gleam.
because you don't have any, huh?
That's a weird way of putting it, but yeah. I really wish I could surf, like, snowboard in this game. How cool would it be to, like...
Ouch.
Oh, you wanted to slide on something?
Wait, hold on.
You want to slide down the hill now?
Yeah!
I loved sledding.
I
But you
know
can't
we
do that without snow.
I know we tried playing Destiny a while ago together, and it didn't work so great. I think I need to remove myself from that situation. But you need to at some point.
Whee!
I mean, it's not nearly as
Not
satisfying
perfect.
as it could be. Like, that could have been way more fun. I mean, it kind of is there, but like, I wanna play a game where they just have like sliding down hills and shit. 'Cause that'd be cool.
It just reminds me of when I used to babysit and play with my neighbor's dogs. I suppose you'd call it dog sitting. And one of them lived on a hill that was right behind my house. So they were like, their house was like down the hill from my house, but my house is at the top of the hill.
This is good.
And they had a Labrador. Labradors are the sweetest dogs ever. And they had a chocolate lab named Coco. And while we were babysitting or taking care of Coco, they're like, oh, sure, you can sled down our hill. Because usually we'd go up to the park where there's a huge, steep hill that everyone loves sledding on. But we had, you know, a decent, like, not quite mini hill, but, you know, it was a fairly decent sized hill in the backyard. So we would go sledding with Coco around. And Coco liked seeing us sled so much. She would either steal our sleds and ride in them herself, which I thought was hilarious, or she would lay on her stomach with her legs splayed out, you know, front and back, and she would actually slide down the hill on her stomach. It was hilarious. Aw, dogs are adorable. I don't believe cats would ever be capable of sliding in snow, would they? Unless they were large enough.
I bet a Maine Coon could do it, no problem.
A Maine Coon?
Yeah.
Maybe. Would all the fur get in the way? I think the reason why Labradors could slide so well is they have fairly short fur. It's very oily fur too, so it's like water repellent.
Yep.
And then also they just sort of have a rib cage shaped just so. It just seems plausible that a Labrador over other animals could sled. Oh yeah, people are talking about the lizards. Yeah, the third eye on those isn't fully developed. In most animals that still retain that third oculus at the top of their forehead, it's so that they can detect day and night. So
There's something just kind of humorous about the idea of having an organ just to detect what time of day it is. It's like, yes, this organ is to tell me if the sun's out.
I mean, for some animals, it's a matter of life and death. Imagine if you were a lizard and you hadn't found a place to hide by the time night fell and you just froze to death.
True.
That'd be pretty bad.
Good amount of blue gleam leaked off this one.
For a lot of fish and aquatic creatures, I mean, it would tell you when you should surface and when you should descend, because oxygenation levels change depending on temperature. Oof. Like, could you imagine just suffocating because you weren't at the right, like, spot in the water?
Kind of. Yeah. That's part of the reason why the whole, like, diving. There was a while back, my mother's like, hey, let's go diving. And I'm like, nah, I'm
The
good.
Banuk might find this blue gleam stuff valuable.
Did you ever play with dogs much when you were young?
Our neighbor had dogs that we'd take care of, but that was the extent of it. Part of it is, like, didn't know anybody with a dog, generally. All my friends almost never had dogs. And if they did, they were very rarely actually friends. For whatever reason.
I see. Or are you saying that they weren't friendly dogs?
No, like, I mean, the friends that, like, got dogs, I generally wasn't very close to for whatever reason. Like, our neighbor across the street got a puppy in the last, like, year that we were there. And, more or less, that was kind of the point where we stopped hanging out with them, because I told you about the family, right? Like, the kid always wanted to play as Goku in D&D, which was super...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he always wanted to play as Goku.
What class would he be?
What?
What class would he be?
We kind of, like, made a homebrewed monk class, but, like...
Oh, yeah, monk would make sense.
But, like, his level 1 character is like, I'm gonna go cast a spirit bomb and destroy the world. And I'm like, that's not...
Wait.
Goku had to do a lot of shit to get the ability to do spirit bomb. He's
They
like,
should've
but I
just
want to
given
do it
him
now.
Fireball as, you know, an attack.
Yeah. Well, effectively, he was just a standard monk that could fly. But so he'd, like, demand to stand around powering up, and it's like, that's not going to do you any good.
What, you mean he would have to go, ah!
Yeah. We told him to stop making noises, though. For what should be pretty obvious reasons.
Yeah. I suppose in my case, I had a lot of neighbors that had dogs. A couple friends that had dogs. I think more of them had cats or rabbits. But... my family, like extended family, like various great aunts and uncles and such had dogs. So I got to see a lot of dogs. And they're friendly. They're good pups. Schnauzers and dachshunds and labs and retrievers. The largest dog I ever had to take care of was a mastiff. He was huge. His name was Mo. Slobbery. Very slobbery. I think we had eaten dinner one time at the family's house, and they had two mastiffs at the time, and fortunately I put my napkin on my lap. I'm usually not the napkin on your lap kind of person, because my nose always runs whenever I eat, regardless of whether or not the food is spicy. I just usually have to keep the napkin on the table so I can just dab my nose whenever it starts to run. And that time I actually put the napkin on my lap, and thank goodness I did, because the dogs, they begged for food in their own little way. We weren't to give them anything, but they would just lay their heads right on our laps and just look at us with those puppy eyes, being like, please feed me. And then when they would go, shoo, shoo, you know, get away from our guests, they would, you know, lift their heads and there'd just be slobber all over the napkins.